Okay, I'm going to put the head back on it now, and the head ring. There's my bolts there. They've been soaking in some oil for a little while, so I'll ease all that back together and I'll let y'all watch if you want to. I'll go ahead and share this with you. You're going to have certain bolts in one of these old, if you got the original head bolts, there's going to be a few that are longer than the others, like this one is longer than that one. And what those are for is those are your starter bolts. You put like 1, 2, 3, 4, put them around the edges, kind of like torquing a head gasket or something. You don't go around, you go crossways to do it. But the longer bolts allows you to put them on the head so you can start pulling the head down, then the shorter bolts will fit later on. Also, I find that sometimes one of these nuts will fit a bolt but it won't fit another one, so usually when I take them off I put them right back on the same nut, that way they don't get mixed up. This does have all the original bolts and nuts, which is a little unusual. A lot of times you get a banjo and they're lost or they're gone or they fell off, so I'm going to put all them in. I'm going to start tightening the head up a bit, and then once I get it tightened up, we'll start looking at necks. Okay, I'll say a couple of things about doing this. Keep in mind that all of this metal is nickel-plated brass, including the bolts and the nuts and the shoes. You can strip these and break them very easily. You can also break the head. Skin heads are more fragile than a plastic head, but they're still breakable. So when you tighten them down, you want to do it gently. I start off by going, you know, one side to one side to one side to one side, and then I just go around, because every time you tighten one, it's pulling the next one to it down. If you go from side to side, sometimes the ones around the edges will fall out. So I just barely turn, usually not more than about 1/8 of a turn. I go round and round and round, and I just turn it with gentle pressure with my fingertips, and I feel how much pressure I have because I don't want to put too much on there. Once I go all the way around and they're all pretty snug, because sometimes you go all the way around and they're still loose as you go, but once they're all kind of snug, then I'm starting to feel like it's in a pretty good place. I'll wait till I get my bridge and my strings and everything on there before I do any more tightening with that. The next thing I'm going to turn my attention to is the neck. I have this neck, which is a banjo takeoff. It looks better than it is, meaning it's got some nice inlays on it here and on the fretboard, but it's really made out of some pretty cheap wood. There's a lot of wood glued together, and I'm not even sure what this wood is, but I don't think it's of much quality. It's really light. I may have to grind a little bit off of this part of the fretboard, and sometimes I found that this stuff is just plywood. Once I grind it, it looks really horrible. So, but that may be something that has to happen in order to make this fit. You'll notice this ring sticks out a bit more than the body, and this neck isn't made that way. So I may wind up having to grind off some of that. I've got another neck here for consideration. It's actually better wood. It's really heavy, and it's got this funky looking heel, which means that in order to use it, I'd have to fill in that big empty spot there and take this bolt out and re-drill it. It doesn't match the color of the wood very well, whereas this one kind of does. The color of that wood and the color of that wood are pretty close. And I'm thinking, you know, I'd probably be happier with this neck than that one, even if that one is a little better wood quality. So, plus this has a stick in it. It'd be awful nice if that stick fit, but I bet I'm going to have to take it out and re-drill it. So I'll get it off this part. This is a very old inexpensive banjo pot that I put a postal envelope head on, and it was fun to play for a while, but at a certain point I pulled the pegs out of it and put them on something else, and you know, it's kind of a novelty to play a banjo with a postal envelope head, but given a choice, I think I'd rather have it on this nice banjo, and it's not a bad looking neck. It'll do. So I'm going to take it off here, and we're going to see what we have to do to fit it onto there.